That's awesome. I wonder if anyone's maxing out credit cards to come see you. Like,
Oh, I mean, it is a consensual relationship. I hope they are responsible with it, but there's been instances of people who have worked very hard to have access to me.
but at the end of the day, that's not your responsibility. If someone else wants to max out their credit card to see you, it's not your responsibility to be like, whoa, bro, think about the interest rates.
I sometimes think about that because it's always fully consensual. I also kind of understand that it could be very alluring for some people to, in a financial way, hit a point of a risk too. Like sometimes, like them maxing out the credit card is the excitement. Like the fact that they're doing that for a woman that they're really pining after. Like there's a bit of financial domination in that. And I think there's a sort of like tricky, depending on person to person, there's some sort of like tricky, things to navigate. And they're fun for me to navigate and really understanding the psychology and like their ability to sustain themselves before or after and taking that into account.
That'd be hilarious. Someone just rolls in with their credit card statement, like, look what I did for you, mistress.
I did have one person online take out loans for me once. Yes.
I hope they weren't payday loans.
It got to a point where I was like, okay, I think I'm going to be calling red. And on the dominant side, you can call red too, right? Like it's going a direction that is hitting one of my limits. And I think one of my limits is like serious financial or physical harm with no repair. Like that's a limit for me.
You're not the American medical system. I get it.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, no. I don't want you to have to mortgage your home.
Exactly. Yeah, I think there's some forms of play that certain DOMs can engage in that are more unethical. And if you're into that form of self-harm, they're out there, right? But I don't want to be an extension of self-harm.
What makes it cross the boundaries into unethical? If the other party is consenting and spending their money and they're just taking it, where does it become unethical?
Yeah, so I look for like healthy emotional regulation and self-awareness first and foremost, so that they can assess their risk properly. And I also look for, is this something that can be repaired or not, right? So I was okay with him taking out loans for me, but there was a certain point where it's kind of getting to a point of like beyond repair. It's going to take too long for him to work. It's going to take too much out of his life. It's going to like really cut into how many months of rent he's going to be missing. At that point, then I stop.
Yeah, the last thing you want is him trying to live at the dungeon because he's got nowhere else to go.
Yeah, exactly. So I think some people there's some DOMs who have developed DS relationships where that is the fantasy for them. They want to live at a dungeon. And if that's the case, then it's actually a lot of responsibility on our end to take care of them fully, right? And I don't want that. Yeah, in a very selfish way.
You don't want adult children?
I do not want adult children. Uh-huh. I can play adult children for a little while, but long term, no. I can mommy dom you though.
As long as you're not going to end up homeless over it,
Yeah, no.
So, treat it like it's a bankruptcy. Just go into a lower, income housing, sell your car, just reduce your expenses, and then you could just pour it all onto Tomie. You just have to change your budgeting around. You may not be able to live the lifestyle you once knew. I
once had a person have me budget for him, and that was really interesting because I took on a level of responsibility that was actually not that fun for me. I was still financially doming him because within his budget, I was taking out like allowances for him actually. Like I had 100%, and then he had the allowance. And that amount of responsibility, that it felt like a parent, right? Like a parent giving out, like, here's your monthly that you're allowed to use on XYZ, and you have to like really monitor them.
Can you have him do chores to get more money?
For this guy specifically, he was in chastity. So his rewards for working within his budget was release.
Well, I remember when I was a kid, it's like, oh, I went over my allowance. Can I do some chores around the house to make more money?
That's a great idea. Yeah, it works really well with domestic servitude for sure.
Tell me at least, did you like look at his budget and be like, yo, you're not eating right. Like, we're going to give you this money to like buy a little bit better food.
I have done that for certain subs actually. But that requires me like looking into their bank accounts and like doing like a pretty thorough, like, you know,
An audit
like, an audit exactly of like what they're doing.
What is this 3 a.m. McDonald's, bro?
No, it's true. It's kind of atrocious sometimes how little they take care of themselves. And I think often, sometimes, not all the time, the desire to sub is like a desire to like offload certain decision making and to someone who they can worship, is more responsible, or like can play mommy. And I actually have moved away from that type of domination. I think I had a period of time where that style was really interesting. It was really fun. And sometimes I can dabble back into it for a sub who's really worth it. But I think my life has gotten to a point where I really value subs who go into the space for a certain level of hedonism, and then outside of it can take care of themselves quite well.
How do you determine if you're going to make the exception for someone?
A lot of it has to do with my time. My time is so limited at this point that with that level of attention I need to give to someone, the tribute package has to make sense. The amount of time I'm looking at, like, you know, and taking care of like their situation has to make sense. And my own like emotional capacity, like that really comes down to that. Like, do I have like the means to like be that person for this one?
Well, I'm sure pegging a dude's much more fun than auditing his books.
Oh yes, please let me just be an animal and peg you. I'm really into some of the more like animalistic things right now, where I can just be in my body, be sensual, and just f you over.
So pulling out one of those accountant's hats and like
exactly. I was doing the expression. I was like, I don't think this style of doming's for me. I don't think I want to be mommy, no matter what amount of money.
Right? It's just doing balancing my own books and looking at like the idea of going through someone else's and being like, what did you spend your fucking money on? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's that, right? It's that humiliation too of being like, why did you do this? You're this age. I can't believe you're blah blah blah, and it's a whole sort of like psychological sort of warfare.